All right, so this week's Spotlight album comes from Bragging Rights. The album is called Small Gods.
Mm.
It's the seventh album from the mind of Kevin Davies. He is the sole member of this project, which he calls sludgy progressive death theater from Wales.
Mm.
It's 14 songs running about 48 minutes. The intro is it called Faust?
Faust?
Faust.
I don't know.
I like the intro. It's sounds kind of like a movie clip. I'm not sure what movie it might have been from, but it's a
Probably
cool little
Faust.
build into. Is that a movie?
It's like an old story about fucking selling your soul to the devil.
Huh?
Faustian deal, writing your fucking name in blood and shit, you know?
Oh, okay, fair enough. I didn't know that.
You Philistine buffoon.
But yeah, it's a cool little intro. Just preparing or getting you into the mood of the album.
Yeah. So this dude's mixing all this shit himself, so it's all pretty consistent throughout the 7 albums. But the song crafting levels up with each record. The last one, Orphan Source, really showcases the Gajra influence with the composition and riff progression. Faust, or Faust, how the fuck you say it. It's a weird intro, man. It's got like a weird thing with the riff, like starting and stopping and shit. And I thought the thing was skipping. Found it to be off-putting. And then we get to Feet of Clay, which is the first track. I felt it had another little intro, which I felt was unnecessary because it just had an intro track.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Did you listen to the MP3 version or the Wave?
I listened to the MP3 version.
All right, so I started with the MP3 and I was like, this sounds like shit. And then I went to the Wave and I was like, it sounds better. But the bass is still buried and the drums are eating up most of the bottom end there. Riffs were cool though. What he's doing on the vocals is kind of cool. He's got some reverb on there and he's kind of doing some like overlapping stuff that I thought was neat. But he definitely needs to get a bass player. There was like so many times during the song where I was like, oh, like the bass could do like a really fucking cool thing here and add like a nice dynamic to it. But he's doing all the instruments, probably doesn't give a shit about the bass. He's just doubling up on what's going on. But like I said, the drums really eat up all the bottom end and you can't really fucking hear any of it.
Yeah. Gojira is the main influence of this guy, and the song is dripping with that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Although the vocals at times do remind me of Randy Bly, more so the way he does the shorter notes, the way he's ending his enunciations. Randy did a track with Gojira, and I always dug it, so I think this is a very cool mix for me. The drums are dominating through this entire album, though. Love's Coffin is the next track. This was the first official single. There's a music video for it, which he does all the music videos himself as well.
Love's Coffin. This one was better. It gets right to it. No useless intro. But again, it had the fucking parts where the bass could have done some cool shit. Yeah,
the beginning and end of the track will get your head bobbing. There's a very ethereal vocal through the middle with the relentless drums that never stop throughout the entire album, pretty much. Breaking the Kings follows. Got a very spacey intro for the first minute, and the middle section had a very hypnotic feel to it.
Yeah, the title of the song, I was like, is it Breaking in Kings or Breaking in Kings? Because, like, you know, the kings are breaking in, or like you're breaking in the new king. I didn't fucking know where we're going with that. It does have the cool atmospheric intro. Kind of had like a bleak cyberpunk vibe to it, which carries over once it kicks in. It's a very dark and bitter sounding vibe. And you get a cool fading outro. It's one of the better tracks on the record.
Yeah, it fades out and then it goes into Call Me When You Get There, which is very abrupt coming from that fade out because they get right into it on this one.
I think that might have to do with how it's chopped up with how we got it on the MP3s and Waves, and with the actual
where we had
release
to go from
might be smoother.
Yeah, that's potential. I do like the vocal layering here, but it does start to get a bit repetitive.
Yeah, dude's got a cool guitar tone and he's got some riffs, but his lead work isn't at the same level at all. But it is buried and very short. I don't think he has confidence in his leads either.
There's really no solos or anything throughout the album.
No, it's not even a solo. It's just like a little lead lick here and there to add something. But you might want to get another guy for that.
Small Gods, the title track, is a good representation of the album we've heard so far. But then in the middle, it kind of changes up. Almost feels like we're going to get a huge breakdown or something, but it never happens. It stays in this state with like a slow riff and drums rolling behind it where it feels like it's building, but it just never does.
Yeah, and also it's right in the middle of the fucking album. It's not my favorite spot for a title track unless you're doing like a tape where it's fucking the end of side A. He does some pretty cool stuff with the effects and the production tricks on the vocals again. Did not like what he's doing with the drums. He's going for that odd time syncopated Gajra Meshuggah type stuff, but he doesn't quite pull it off. Like, he's obviously not a drummer. He's using a drum machine, and that weird stuff that's drummer knowledge. Like, I'm doing a 5/8 fucking paradiddle. Like,
yeah.
You can't be a guitar player and expect to pull off that kind of stuff. So, might want to get you a drummer or read a book or something on drums.
A voice follows that. It's got gloomy distortion, feels like a slower In Flames track, kind of like The Attic, if you're familiar with that one.
Yeah, I didn't like that one. I don't like it. That's probably why. Yeah, all right.
Cosmonaut is the second single. There's also a music video for this one, and I hear a very Maynard influence in the vocal coming and going. Not the entire time, but it's there at moments.
This was the best song on the album, I thought. It had cool riffs. The drums are good, and the bass is a bit more pronounced. And yeah, it does have a bit more of a Maynard, more of the Perfect Circle style than Tool.
Yeah, not Tool, but Perfect Circle. It's just specified.
Yeah, man.
Temporary Things is a standout to me. There's a lot more going on here with the guitars, and it isn't as repetitive as some of the other songs that we've heard.
Yeah, the main riff's pretty cool. Once again, the lead work isn't good. Even though it's mostly buried in the back, it still detracts from the song. But a good thing it was only a temporary thing.
There you go. No, it's There Go I.
Yeah, that was weird, right?
What a weird name of a track. They continue to kind of change it up here, or he continues to kind of change it up here. Gives us a little bit more on the back half of the album than we got on the front half.
Yeah, so second best track, I thought. Nice fade out into the next track, which is an eerie atmospheric intermission type deal.
Pretty much just ambient noise.
It's cool, like reverse effects going on and stuff, but the back half of the album always has the cooler shit. You know what I'm saying? That's I like that.
It's definitely the case with this one. The wailing follows the ambient track. There's some deeper vocals in here that I thought were really cool. As a vocalist, I like what this guy's doing a lot. And there are also several tempo changes throughout the track that made it not as repetitive as some of the earlier tracks. I know I've said that a few times, but at the beginning, my brain just kept going. It's just repeating itself over and over and over. Where's something more? We're now getting more as we get later on in this album. And it seems to be finding its groove.
Yeah, the wailing, this one's cool. He does this a few times on the album, even on some of the older records, where he gets into kind of like a Skin Lab vibe, where he was talking about the vocals kind of have a more of a darker vibe. And, Skin Lab was, I guess they was under the new metal vibe, but they kind of had that dark alternative style to them that kind of comes out in this song.
My Colossus followed. What'd you think of that one?
That's more of the same. How you were saying this stuff is kind of just one big long fucking song. It's just, you got one guy, you know what I'm saying? You kind of need a no man. Some guys can be like, nah, that one didn't work, or no, that song's not awesome, or no, this one just sounds like the same old shit. Me, I got the solo thing, IKO, but I always had Beaumont Sabos to come in and be like, that just sounds like everything else, or I like that one, or that's not working. And he would do vocals for me, and he'd be like, hey, can you extend this part, or what's up? You need another guy to a little bit of more, get the creative juices going or something. That's why I say you get a bass player in there. It's going to add a whole new fucking dynamic to it. And also he's going to have a input for like drum grooves and stuff because of, holding on the rhythm. And you need it. Even if you're not in the band, you need a guy that's going to be honest with you and be like, this ain't working, or this all fucking sounds the same. You know what I'm
saying? There's a lot of good ideas here, but there just needs to be a little bit more meat on the bone. How do you say that last track?
Esoteric
Streak. Okay.
I guess.
Where's that guitar tone been the entire time? I really like that. We needed more of that throughout the album to break it up. It's got a couple more tempo changes, and we get the machine gun drums before fading it out. I thought it was a standout, definitely a good way to close it and get you interested in what's to come next from this project.
Also had a nice fade out, a bit extended, and it gives that epic closing feel. Like I said, I'm a sucker for a one-man solo project. I wouldn't call this progressive death metal at all. This is more like post new metal.
Post.
As I said, he's got the cool guitar tune, the riffs, and he's got some arrangements are good, but he's seriously lacking in the fucking bass department, and he leans way too much on the double bass groove with them drums.
Yeah.
You need another guy, just somebody to break up. I know you're like stuck in your head. I mean, he's did 7 albums. I think it's like almost 80 fucking songs in like 4 or 5 years, which is like fucking impressive, something to be proud of. But you get stuck in your own little like egotistical world, and you're like, everything I'm doing is great. And some of these songs, it might have just been like an idea for a bridge you had. Like, I got this idea to do this cool thing, and you just kind of have like a filler song. Like not everything's fucking album worthy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think you could have combined a couple of these songs together to
right, like chop it up and put this part with that. That's definitely
14 songs on here could have been shortened up a little bit.
But I mean, like I said, 80 fucking songs in 4 or 5 years. That's something. And you know, keep cranking them out, man. I'll give them a fucking listen. But yeah, bragging rights, small gods. That's a 2 upside down pentagrams to me. It's not really my thing. I would rather listen to Gajra, you know what I'm saying, or something with cooler bass.
I actually questioned at times if there was any bass at all.
It's in there, but
it's matching with the drums so much that it's blending out.
It's not doing anything to, like, he just put a bass in there to give it some meat instead of actually flesh out the fucking song, you know what I'm saying? He's a guitar player. I think the best quality he has is the vocalist. Like, what he's doing on there is really fucking cool. And he has cool ideas for the guitar riffs and arrangements and stuff, but you need to get a band. You need to get like a stoner metal bass player and a death metal drummer. That's what he fucking needs to do what he's fucking trying to do. That's, I mean, what is he, fucking Wales, UKs? They got all kind of fucking scenes going on, and then, you know, like doom and
I think
metalcore, all kind of shit going on over there.
I think there's a lot of potential here, but he does need some more
yes
musicians in there with him to just get different ideas flowing. The Gojira influence is very strong, and at times for me it's a little bit too strong. It gets repetitive, and much of the album starts to sound the same, making it hard to differentiate one song from the next. Some songs abruptly end and don't flow into the next one. Smooth Bobby mentioned the way we had this album could be an issue with that.
Like the actual,
because we had to skip from song to song. We actually had to select them and start them, so it didn't.
Probably better, smoother.
Yeah, the overall release might be smoother. But with that said, I do like the overall sound. I just wish there was more changes and diversity in the album earlier on. I think it gets stronger as it goes, and the back half starts to stand out a little bit more. Bragging Rights is impressive, being a one-man show, and if you're a fan of Gojira, you'll probably dig parts of this album. I'll be interested to see where the project progresses over time.
Mm-hmm.
Small Gods is a 3.5 out of 6 for me.
It reminded me of remember that stuff I showed you guys when we first started as Locust, and it was like just the 2 guys playing guitar, and they had their buddy just come in to do drums. And I was like, man, these guys need to get a bass player and a singer. And they ended up getting a bass player and a singer and an actual drummer, and their whole sound just fucking totally changed. Went from like technical death and was like groove death.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's what you need, those extra guys to come in and flesh out your stuff, man.
Well, also, if you add extra band members, then you can play shows. He mentions that he doesn't play shows. He just focuses on recording stuff.
So, I mean, if you got your drums on the fucking drum machine, just get some hot chick to go up there and press the button, and then you just play guitar over it, and he's doing the singing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
You could do it. Yeah, you could still
totally
make it happen.
Buckethead, he just goes out there with a fucking drum machine and eat fucking fruit noodles for fucking an hour.
Who was it that I seen open for Limp Bizkit? That crazy guy.
Nate No Face.
Nate No Face was doing that, exactly. Thank you.
The Kills is just a guy on a guitar and a chick singing, and they got programmed drums, and it's fucking, you can do it.
Yep, like I said, there's a lot of potential here. Bragging Rights, Small Gods comes out September 20th. Go check it out.
Yeah, man.